Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Northern Zen Yoga. And this morning, I want to right off the bat apologize because I thought that my furnace installation yesterday was only going to take a day, but apparently the guy's back this morning to do something else. And he might be making some hammering noises. I'm hoping it won't be anything too loud because we're kind of far away from that area, but I've heard a few hammer bumps. So I apologize. Hopefully it won't interfere with anything too much and that he'll be done fairly quickly. So how is everyone this morning? Here where I am, it is a little overcast. It's a little cooler than it should be this time of year. But as everybody has been noticing all over the world, the weather is really weird. It's very weird. Anyway, if you were able to check in on the chat board, say hi, tell people where you're watching from. And I'm just going to lean over here and I see that Joyce is here this morning. Good morning, Joyce. Hope you're feeling much better. And I have a couple of announcements to make. Some of them you may have already heard a few times, but for anybody that's new watching this, I have a workshop coming up. It's totally free. And it is not about yoga. It is about the ketogenic diet. The workshop is called Keto 101. Now, this is going to be on Zoom. And the link for the workshop will be posted the morning of the workshop, which is on June the 14th. It'll be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So whatever time it is for you right now, this is the time of day that if you're watching live, I should say, this is the time of day when it will be in your time zone. So this particular workshop is just about your questions and basics of the ketogenic diet, which is the diet that I follow. And I hate the word diet because diet sounds like something that you do for a short period of time and then you go back to the way you were eating before and pray you don't gain weight again. This particular one for me is now become a lifestyle. So I have been on this for almost 2 years. It's more like about, 20 months now that I have been eating this particular way. And in that time period, I dropped about 27 pounds, which is significant when you're only 5 feet tall, which is what I am. So it's a great way to eat. I'm not going to say the word diet anymore. It's a great way to eat. You're never hungry. You eat a lot of really, really good food. And basically you take yourself away from processed and overly sweet, sugary foods. You get to eat lots of meat, lots of vegetables, and you eat fat, which is a good thing to keep you from feeling hungry. So if you're interested in finding out something more about that, join us on June the 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to my website. So the link will actually be posted on my website. You would go to the tab that says live yoga classes. And once you hover over that, there's a drop down that shows you a couple of options. And one is going to be events. So you're going to click onto the events and it's going to take you to a page which has some information on some upcoming events. And the Zoom Keto 101 is one of them. And the link will be there. You just have to click on the link and it will take you directly to the meeting. The other workshop that's coming up in September, and I haven't set a date for it yet, but it will be probably near the end of September, is going to be one on yin yoga. So if you're interested in doing a workshop, finding out more about yin yoga, some tricks and tips to be able to deepen your yin yoga practice, and we'll also have a complete yin yoga class as well throughout it, then join me at that time, but that's in September and more information will come on that. So the other thing I want to let you know is next Tuesday's live class on YouTube will be the last one for the summer. So for July and August, there will not be any live on YouTube yoga classes. However, I do still will be having live classes on Zoom, and you are welcome to become a member of Northern Zen Yoga on the website. There's information about that. And you can, for as little as just under $17 a month, you can get live yoga classes. We will at least be having through the summer 3 a week, as well as access to the videos of the classes. So even if you couldn't make live any of the classes, you will still have videos to watch of those classes and other things that I post on for members only during that time period. So you could go to the website and check it out. My website is www.northernzenyoga.com. And once you get to the website, you will see the tabs that have become a member, and the information will be underneath that. You'll see live yoga classes as a tab, and that will tell you information about that and any free classes that I might offer. But for the summer, we're going to slow it down a bit because I think you guys are going to be busy anyway with your summer, enjoying it. So in any case, I will be the odd time, at least once a week, I hope, posting to YouTube informational videos or shorts for your yoga practice to help keep you moving and grooving. And of course, you have access to all of the videos that are on the channel at any time that's convenient for you. So who else has said hi here? Susan Edwards, good morning. Jerry says that it's 78 degrees and it's going to go up to 84. Wow, that's great. I wish it was that here. And also, I see that Barbara from the UK, from North Yorkshire, has joined us this morning. Wow, Barbara. I also have another lovely lady in the UK that follows me, and she's been on our Zoom classes quite frequently. Her name's Janet, and I don't see Janet checking in today. No, but she might be there and just hasn't said hello. So you can see that Northern Zen Yoga is a worldwide yoga class. And that is kind of interesting because when we do have our Zoom classes, it's a little more intimate than it is being this way where I talk and you listen. And except for the chat, you really can't interact with me. But on Zoom, we have a chance to talk with each other as well as with me and get to know other, mostly, we've only had so far ladies join us, get to know ladies from around the world. We have ladies from UK, we have a lady from Spain that joins periodically, and of course from Canada and the US and across both countries. So today I'm wearing my Banff t-shirt. I was in Banff a few years ago. It's a really lovely place. If you've never visited Banff, you got to go there. It's almost like going to one of those little towns you imagine in Switzerland, tucked in the mountains, and it's really lovely. They got lots of shops, and it's a cool little place. But one of the weird things I discovered there was that pretty much every place sells bear spray. So I'm thinking, okay, should I have that? Because maybe bears wander into town. I don't know. But anyway, I digress. Okay, so I want you to get yourself comfortable on your mat. You should have, and this really does help the hips, you should have a blanket or a cushion of some sort that you sit on to elevate your hips just slightly so that the legs will fall out a little more gently. And we're going to get onto the mat and we're going to sit into our easy pose, whatever easy pose looks like for you. And if you have been following me, you know that I accept this as easy pose if this is the most you can bend your knees at this particular time. So the next step would be maybe crossing the legs, and then we start to bring the heels a little closer and a little closer and a little closer. And your knees might be way up in the air, and you're definitely feeling a little tug as they relax out. That's good. No matter where you are, if you're feeling it, you're doing yoga. And that's the truth. Yoga is a journey. It starts wherever your body is ready to start, and then we move things deeper as we progress. And most of you who have been watching me for maybe the past year or so have discovered that already their body is responding to what they're doing, and they're feeling looser and more relaxed and freer in the hip joints than they've felt in years. It worked for me, it'll work for you. So get into your easy pose. And we're just going to sit for a few moments and we're going to focus on breathing. So we're not going to control the breath in any way yet. Instead, we're just going to notice that we're breathing in and we're breathing out. So let your eyes get soft, or even close your eyes. Let your hands rest on your lap, or you can lace your fingers down and rest them on your feet or on your lap as well. And just breathe. Notice the breath moving through the body. And for the most part in yoga, we're breathing in and out through the nose. So unless you have some kind of condition that prevents that, do your best to just allow the breath to pass in and out through the nose. Let your shoulders relax. But at the same time, start to straighten up your spine. Let your chin be level to the floor. And we're going to start to breathe in a different way that maybe you're used to breathing. So we're going to inhale into the belly. So as you inhale through the nose, you're going to push your belly out. So let's take an inhale. And on the exhale, pushing the belly back in, pushing out the air through the nose. Follow your own breath and keep practicing that inhaling into the belly. Exhale, push the belly in. Just breathe. And as you breathe, perhaps think about what your intention is for today. What kind of day do you want to have? Do you want to have a lazy day? And then think to yourself, I am relaxed. Maybe you want to have a busy day, very active day, and think, I am active and busy all day. Or maybe it's more emotional. I'm happy today. I'm focused today. Make it positive though, and make it in the present, as if you already are. Keep inhaling and exhaling. Make sure you're not tightening up in your back. Try to relax your back and your shoulders. We're going to begin to move with our breath. So let's reach up on the inhale. Reaching up as high as you can today. And on the exhale, slowly dropping the hands down toward the floor. Let's inhale up. Still breathing into the belly on the inhale. And exhaling down, pulling that navel in. Inhale up. Let's look up toward the ceiling direction this time. So even if your hands aren't making it to touch each other, just come up as high as you can today. Exhale, drop your chin down. Inhale, reaching up, looking up. Exhale, dropping chin to chest. Inhale up, nice big stretch, reach up, look up. Exhale, dropping the hands back down toward the floor, chin to your chest. This time we're going to stop just a few inches above the floor and we're going to reach and stretch out. Tuck your chin down, pressing it down into your chest. Reach for each side of the room. Feel a nice stretch up in your back of your neck. Rotate your palms facing forward. We're going to push the hands back behind us just a little bit, bringing the shoulder blades together. Breathe. Relax your arms down to the floor. Let's inhale up one more time. Nice big stretch up. And as you exhale, this time you're going to drop your right hand down and you're going to stretch overhead, reaching for the other side of the room. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Make sure your left bum cheek is pressing into the floor. Don't lift it up. Nice big stretch. Inhale. As you come up, raise your other arm up. And as you exhale, drop the left hand down this time. Stretch the right arm overhead. Keep breathing. This time we're making sure our right bum cheek is pushing down into the mat or your blanket, whatever you're sitting on. Inhale, come up nice and easy on the inhale, stretch up. Now on the exhale, we're going to twist. We're going to keep our belly facing forward. We're just pushing the shoulder back. So drop the right arm behind you, start to push that right shoulder back, and then we're going to drop the left hand down and just let it rest on your lap. We're going to straighten up through the spine, so we're going to lengthen up a little bit, and on the exhale, we're going to push the shoulder just a little micro movement deeper. And if you like, you can turn your chin toward the right shoulder. Feeling a stretch in your neck as well. Only go as far as your neck feels comfortable though. Don't force anything. In yoga, we never ever force anything. Let's come back slowly to center. Inhale the arms up. And this time we're going to twist to the left. So we're going to drop the left arm behind us, right hand on our lap, and we're pushing the left shoulder back. And we're moving the chin toward the left shoulder, if that is allowed with your neck today. So remember throughout this practice, you are allowed to not do things you cannot do. Breathe here. And you're always going for just an achy stretching feeling. Let's come back to center. Inhale the arms up. And this time on the exhale, and it doesn't matter what position your feet are in, you're going to start to push your belly down toward the floor and then drop your hands down toward the floor so that you can support yourself as you keep pressing your belly down deeper and deeper. So even if you look like this is what you're doing. Even if you look like this is what you're doing. You're bringing the belly down as far as you can go toward the floor. And if you're able to start walking the hands a little further away, stretching out your back a little bit, stretching out the arms. Remember, we're not going for pain. We don't want to feel pain in our back. We don't want to feel pain in our hips. Instead, we're just looking for that achy stretch, the signal that our muscles are starting to stretch. And if you're able to, you can start to drop down even deeper toward the legs, toward the floor. And just take a few breaths here. So come up onto your fingertips and very slowly walk your hands toward the right. So even if I'm way up like this, I can still walk my hands over toward the right. Even if I'm way out like this, I can still walk my hands over toward the right. So I'm just going for another twist here in this position. And make sure you're not feeling anything pain in your back when you're doing this. You want to feel the stretching. That's different. Make sure you're keeping your bottom down on the floor. And then we're going to very, very slowly walk ourselves all the way as far as we can to the other side. Feel a stretch maybe right up here. Keep pushing both bum cheeks into your floor, your mat, your blanket. Breathe. Make sure you're not holding your breath here. And then very slowly come back into center position and just see if you can push down a little deeper. Little micro movements count in yoga. Pushing into the hands, walk the hands back toward the body, coming upright again. Inhale, reach up as high as you can toward the ceiling. Exhale. We're going to bring the hands behind the back. We're going to push our knuckles or our fingertips down into the floor or our cushion that we have behind us. We're going to start to pull the shoulder blades in toward each other. So we're squeezing the shoulder blades in, feeling a nice stretch right across the chest. When I first started doing this stretch was very intense. Well, now for me, it's hardly noticeable. So for you, if you're feeling it, that's a good thing because this is an area that isn't getting stretched enough. So keep pulling those shoulder blades toward each other as far as you can. We're going to push down into the floor, take an inhale, lift up our chin toward the ceiling. And as we exhale, drop your head back, push down into the floor and breathe. This is very important. In this position, take some deep breaths. Feel your rib cage open and expand, taking in lots of air here. And release. Inhale the arms back up again. If you're able to bring your fingers together, great. If not, we're just going to start to bend at the elbow, bringing our hands in the direction toward each other. So if you can touch fingers together, you're going to start up here. If you can't, you're going to come into here. And then we're coming down into what we call prayer pose, which is pressing the palms together. So even if your palms don't make it together, just intend them toward each other. Keep pushing toward each other. Once upon a time, I was like this. So eventually, over time, your body starts to let go, it starts to relax, it starts to stretch, and you get there. Take a few breaths here, just close your eyes. Feel what you're feeling. Notice where you feel it. And then gently switch your feet up. So even if you had your legs, unless you just have the soles of your feet together, you're going to keep it like that. But even if you have your legs out and the ankles just crossed, now you're going to cross them the other way. And if you have your feet looking more like mine, then you're going to take the front leg, you're going to bring it back, and you're going to bring the back leg forward. So we're going to repeat some of this, but it's important that you rearrange your legs so that you're giving your hips a different stretch. So let's inhale, reaching up toward the ceiling. Exhale, side bend to the right. Big stretch. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, side bend to the left side. Inhale as you come up. This time on the exhale, we're twisting, so we're dropping the right hand first behind us, left hand on our lap. And just like before, if you can, turn your chin toward your shoulder, just till you feel the stretch up here. Come back to center. Inhale up, nice big stretch up. Exhale. Let's twist to the other side. And again, if you want to turn your chin toward the left shoulder, stretching the neck on the other side. And you probably will notice that one side your neck will turn much more freely than the other side. That's normal. And come back to center. Inhale. Let's reach up, stretch up. Exhale, bringing our belly forward, reaching down for the floor to support us, and dropping our belly deeper toward the floor. If you're able to, walk your hands out a little further away from you. Keep pushing that belly down. That's really the goal, is to get the belly closer to the floor. And making sure both cheeks stay on the mat. We're going to walk our fingers over toward the left. Excuse me. Stretching out to the left side. And then very slowly, we're going to walk back across toward, did I say the left the last time? Well, to the other side now. And take a few breaths here. Make sure those bottom cheeks are still on the mat. I don't know about you, but some days I get my lefts and my rights mixed up. Let's come back to center. Stretch out the arms. See if you can push down your belly just a little closer to the floor now. Don't worry about your head, just the belly. Walk the hands back towards you. Inhale the arms up again. Nice big stretch up. Exhale. Bring them behind you, pushing your fingertips or your knuckles down into your blanket, your block, your floor, whatever you're sitting on. And squeeze the shoulder blades together. Feel the stretch across your chest. Let's take an inhale. Push into the floor. Lift the chin up toward the ceiling. Exhale the head back. Push down deeply. Keep squeezing those shoulder blades and breathe. And release. Inhale the arms up again. Bringing palms together. You have to drop your arms to do it and then come into your prayer pose. Just feel everything. Feel your body now. It's important in yoga that we're always checking in with the body, listening to it, feeling the sensations that the practice gives us. We're going to come over onto our hands and knees. So if you need something for your knees, like you could use your blanket, or if you have something special that you kneel on, grab that. We're going to be on our knees for a few minutes. Coming into, so here you see I have this very interesting mat. This is actually a sheepskin. It's a sheepskin mat. It's actual live, or once was live, real sheepskin. This is quite often used in yoga for yogis to sit on because of its surface. It's very soft and gentle. And if they're at the point where they don't really want to sit with their hips elevated, this just gives them a little cushioning. I also have this block, which I purchased from Half Moon Yoga. I think they also sell it at B Yoga. And it's pretty good for sitting on. It's a little bit softer than a regular block. It's a little bit firmer than a blanket, but that's about all I've discovered. Or you could use it for a pillow, I guess, for the back of your head, but that's about all it's good for. Let's get onto our hands and knees. And we're going to go through cat-cow. So cat-cow, you can have your feet flat. You can have your toes tucked, whichever feels better for your back. We're going to drop our belly down, lift our tailbone up, lift our chin up. Take an inhale. On your exhale, you're going to start to curl your back like an angry cat. So tuck your tailbone under, pull your belly button up. Tuck your head down toward your arms. Push all your air out. Inhale. Come to cow. Exhale. Come back to cat. Nice and slow, and follow your breath. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to touch our toes together. We're going to widen our knees apart, as wide as your mat, if you can get them that wide. And we're going to begin to push back toward our heels. So right about here, somebody is going to have a difficulty with bending their knees that deeply. whether it's because you have injuries to your knees or whether because you've had a replacement and your tendons are all shortened. So you have blankets, you have blocks, you can use those to shorten the distance between the floor and your bottom. Wherever you're at, even if you're just happy to have your butt sticking up and this is about as far as you can go, do not lift it up higher to get your head down. Instead, try to keep your hips where they are and let your belly and your chest get heavy and come down toward the floor. You can use a block, you can use your fists to support things. But if you can push back to your heels, and then what happens is as your head comes down, your bum comes up. You also have to look at using something to support the head, to keep the heels down. This is the stretch, not putting your head on the floor. So it's an important thing to remember because a lot of people get very involved in wanting to put their head down onto the floor in this pose. And really, it's about bringing the heels and the bottom toward each other. Breathe here wherever you are. And then we're going to come back up onto all fours. So we're going to go into some cat stretches. We're going to stretch out the opposite leg and arm. So we're going to take the right hand, we're going to reach out, we're going to take the left leg, and we're going to stretch it behind us. Look just ahead of your mat, you'll find a spot to stare at, and this will help you to balance. So tighten up your belly when you do this. Tighten up this part to help support you. And drop them both down. Let's switch sides. So this time we're going to go with the left hand and the right leg. So reach, reach, reach. Now this is a balanced posture, so you may have a challenge here. Drop back down again. We're going to switch sides. So if you really, really need to, you can use a block here. You can have the block just ahead of you, and as you stretch out and you find you're going to tip forward, you can use the block to help keep you in balance. So let's stretch out. Really stretch, reach. This helps with the balance. Push your heel back, reach with your fingertips. Nice big stretch. Switch sides. Right leg, left hand. Nice big stretch here. Stretch and elongate the body. Come back to child pose. Touch toes, widen up the knees, push back into your child pose again. So let's come back up onto all fours. So we have our knees slightly apart, our feet flat on the floor. Our hands are ahead of our shoulders, just slightly. We're going to take an inhale, and on our exhale, we're going to start to push against our hands, pushing back as far as we can toward the bottom, trying to touch our bum to our heels. Inhale, come up. Exhale, push back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, push back. This is an excellent stretch for those tight knees. Inhale, come up. So even if you only go back a little bit before things start to get too uncomfortable, it's this motion that is going to help to stretch those muscles and tendons around your knee joint. Quite often the main problem is not so much the knee itself that's causing the pain, but the tightening of all of the ligaments and tendons and muscles that are attached to the knee on both below and above the knee, particularly up here above. And this is because once you start having knee pain, you stop using your knees and everything starts to go to atrophy. So just those little motions of rocking back and forth gently on your knees are going to help you to get those muscles and tendons starting to become more pliable. You're going to get moisture in there, and when the moisture comes, then everything starts to stretch. All right. From here, we're going to come into downward facing dog. So stretch out your arms in front of you just a little bit more. Turn your fingertips slightly toward each other. You're going to tuck your toes under, push into your hands, lift up your hips, drop your head between your arms, and try to breathe here. You can walk your dogs by bending your knees. Now, downward facing dog can be as straight-legged or as bent knee as you need it to be. So just breathe here. Take another couple of breaths. Look toward your hands. Begin to walk your feet forward. If you need to, grab your block so that the floor now is a little bit closer, coming into the forward fold. Knees are soft here. No straight legs. You can actually relax those knees as much as you need to if it helps you get your belly down tighter against your legs. And breathe. You can lace your arms together. Hang down a little heavier. You're going to feel the stretch right up here. So try to relax. Try to breathe deeply here. We're going to come into a halfway lift. So let's inhale, halfway lift. Hands are pushing into the thighs. Push your tailbone out, lift your head up, lift your chin up. Exhale, fold back down again. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands on the thighs, lift your chin up, lift your tailbone up. Exhale, fold back down again. Inhale one more time, halfway lift. Inhale up, exhale, down. We're going to come up in a reverse swan dive. So your back stays nice and straight as you come up. Throw your arms out to help bring you up. So let's inhale. Throw the arms out, push into the floor. Nice flat back coming all the way up. No rolling up the spine. Inhale the arms up toward the ceiling. Exhale them into prayer pose. And we're going to come into the mountain pose. First thing you need to do in mountain pose is make a really good foot plant. So we're going to lift up our toes and push the soles of our feet down into the mat. You want to feel your heel, you want to feel the ball of your foot on both sides, making contact as you push down. So you're tightening the muscles up to engage them into pushing down. Drop your toes down now. Make sure all your muscles have tightened up, your legs, your bum, your belly, your rib cage. Bring your shoulder blades back. Palms will face forward now. Chin should be level to the floor. Close your eyes and smile. Activate some of those smiling muscles. Breathe. Feel yourself. Feel your body. Let's bring our palms together. We're going to inhale, push up toward the ceiling as high as you can. And the exhale, you're going to drop your right hand down. You're going to stretch to the side. Another side stretch. Inhale, as you come back up, raise up the right arm. Exhale, drop the left arm down. Side stretch to the left. Inhale, as you come back up. Exhale, just tip back a little bit into a little back bend. Inhale up. Exhale, we're going to go into the swan dive. So we're going to throw our arms out to the side. Push your palms away from you. Nice flat back. Drop your chest down toward the floor. When you get to the halfway lift position, start to bring the arms forward. And then as you fold down, just drop your arms, your head toward the floor. Inhaling, halfway lift, flat back, exhale, fold. Reverse your swan dive. Just like you came down, we're coming back up. We're using the legs to do it. So push into the floor. Inhale, arms out to the side, lift the chest, nice flat back. Inhale your arms up toward the ceiling now, and exhale them into prayer. We're going to do that a few more times. So let's push up. Exhale, side bend to the right. And if you're used to doing this with me, try to take those side bends nice and deep. Really stretch your fingers toward the floor. The other hand, be stretching it toward the opposite wall. And inhale, coming back up again. Exhale to the other side. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale, come back up again. Exhale, just a little tip back, push the hips forward. Inhale, your hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, swan dive. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Reverse your swan dive. Palms together, exhaling into prayer. One more time, let's go through it. Inhale up. Side bend to the right. Inhale coming up. Side bend to the left. Exhale. Inhale coming up. Let's do a back bend. Inhale up. Exhale. Swan dive. Inhaling, halfway lift. Flat back. Exhale, fold. Fingertips touching the mat now. So we're going to step back our left foot. We're going to come into warrior one. And I'm going to face this way so you can see my feet. Right foot stays where it is. I'm going to step the left foot back as far as we can, keeping the front knee bent and lined up with our ankle. Push into your foot, lift your chest up. So look at my feet now. So you can see my feet are not in line with each other. They're in their own zone. If I had a line down the middle of the mat, you would see that this foot was on one side, this foot was on the other side of the mat. My ankle in the back is angled at something that feels comfortable for my ankle. My heel is pressing into the ground. I'm upright and I look and glance down, I can see my foot. If you can't see your foot, you need to scoot your toes forward until you can see your foot, at least most of the top of your foot. That's very important because if you're in the position where your foot disappears, you're going to be injuring your knee. You see any videos or any instructor tells you or does not correct this and you see them doing it, never watch that person again. They're not trained. This is very important. So make sure you can see your toes when you glance down. If you do what I just told you to do by leaning into that a little bit, you'll feel the pain in your knees start. So listen to the body. Let's inhale the arms up. Nice big stretch up as high as you can without crunching up your arms. Let's take an inhale and straighten that front leg. Inhale, straighten up. Exhale, we're going to forward fold, bringing our belly down toward our leg. If you need to grab anything, grab your thigh, grab your shin to help support you. Grab your block if you need to for support. And just let your chest come down toward your leg. Breathe here. If you like and you feel like you want to add some balance, you can bring your hands behind your back. Breathe. If you've got your block handy, you're going to bring your block on the inside of your leg, right by your calf. Push your knuckles down into the block. We're going to inhale the shoulder up toward the ceiling. Exhale, drop the shoulder toward the floor. Inhale, lift the shoulder up toward the ceiling as high as you can lift it up. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, lift up toward the ceiling. And we're just going to stay here for a second and breathe. Find your balance here. Feel your body trying to balance itself here. Breathe. Drop your shoulder down toward the floor. Just get your block out of the way for a second. We're going to inhale, coming back up again. Bend your knee on the way up. Coming back into warrior one. Take a step forward so you're standing in mountain pose and breathe here. Feel the two sides of your body. Feel what feels different. Palms together, inhale, pushing up. Exhale, side bend to the right side. Inhale up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale up. Exhale, little back bend. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhaling, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fingertips touch the mat again. We're going to step back into warrior one again. This time the left foot stays forward and the right foot steps back. Find your warrior one position before you come up. And if you needed to and you couldn't reach the floor, you can always use the block here. Inhale. If you need to have leverage, push into your thigh, come up into warrior one. So once again, feet are on opposite sides of the middle line. Reaching for the ceiling, but not scrunching our shoulders up. Breathe here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Next inhale, we're going to straighten the front leg. Exhale, forward fold. And if you need your block to help balance you here, you can do that. Otherwise, you can bring your hands around to your back. And if you do put yourself in the position where you can either lace your fingers or grab your wrists, try to lift the elbows and arms up toward the ceiling. Breathe. Bring your block beside your leg, pushing your knuckles or your fingertips down into the block. Arm behind the back. We're going to inhale the shoulder up to the ceiling and exhale it down. Inhale up. Exhale it down. Inhale up one more time. We're going to stay up here for a few breaths. Breathe. Find your balance here. Be very mindful you're not using your knee to press into. If you don't have a block, you should be above your knee or below your knee, but not on your knee. And drop your shoulder down. We're going to come back up, but bend the knee on the way up. Coming up, warrior one. And take a step forward, standing in mountain pose. Breathe here. Notice how much more even you feel now. I'm going to change my direction here so that you can see warrior two. Okay, palms together. Inhale, push up. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale up. Exhale, back bend. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold, fingertips touch the mat or your block, and you're going to step your left foot back. This time you are working on lining up the feet. So big step back as far as you can. Line up the heels. Front heel and back heel in line with each other. Push into your front foot, coming up. Ankle and knee should be lined so that you can look down from upright position and see your toes. It's much better to have your foot a little bit too far forward than it is to have it in the wrong position where you're leaning, lunging like this. It's one of my pet peeves. I see so many yoga instructors doing this. And they're even leaning this way, showing people how to do things. And the pain in your knee is incredible when you're in this position. Maybe when they're young, they don't feel it, but they will in about 20 years from now. And you probably would feel it if you did it. So the difference between warrior one and two is that I'm in a sideways position in Warrior 2, where in Warrior 1 I was face forward, hips forward. So we have our hips over to the side. They should be somewhere between here and here, not here. And our legs are as wide apart as we can comfortably get them. I'm going to get mine a little wider apart so that I feel more comfortable. And you're going to get a nice stretch in here into the thighs. And this is also a balanced posture. So you're going to feel your body wanting to fall out of it. So tighten up your muscles to help stabilize you. Tighten up your belly. Push your knee toward your baby toe. It's probably going to want to cave in. Stretch your arms out front to back, looking out over our middle finger. Drop your back hand down. Turn your front palm up toward the ceiling, and then raise your arm up toward the ceiling. And then let's have a look at that palm. Take a breath here. Proud warrior. We're going to exhale, bringing our forearm down. We're going to rest it on our thigh. And we're going to start to tip the chest down toward the leg. Lift the shoulder up toward the ceiling. So here's your first thing you're going to work on. If you're tight here and you're facing down and lifting up that shoulder is a bit of a challenge, this is what you're going to work on. Once you can lift that shoulder up and face the ceiling and look up toward the ceiling, then you're going to start to lift your arm overhead, just over your ear, and reach for the other side of the room. Once you get very strong in this, you can actually let go of that leaning in toward the leg and just do the stretch. So we'll bring the arm back down. We'll come back up into Warrior 2. Breathe here. Inhale, let's straighten our front leg. Exhale, push your hip back. Just give it a little push back and reach forward. Now we're going to tip. So if you don't have a block, you're going to reach for below your knee or above your knee, but not grabbing your knee. If you do have a block, you're going to put your block right by your calf muscle. And you're going to touch your fingertips or your knuckles down into the block, and arm behind the back. We're just going to do that same thing. We're going to inhale the shoulder up, exhale it down, and you're going to find you're going to be working on your balance here. Inhale it up, exhale it down. As you get better at this, the balancing part becomes something you don't hardly notice till you almost lose it. But when you first begin, this is definitely a balance pose. Inhale it up. Now, if you can lift your shoulder up toward the ceiling, you can reach for it. This is triangle pose, Trikonasana. Now, what I don't want to see is this. So don't worry about this if your shoulder is still facing down, your chest is still down in the direction of the mat. Instead, be honest with yourself and work on lifting the shoulder up and rotating and stacking them. We're going to come out of this pose, so we're going to bend the knee, come back into Warrior 2. Warrior 2. Drop your hands down, turn your toes in. We're going into a wide-legged stance here. Hands on the hips. Take a deep breath in, stretching up through the spine. And on the exhale, let's come to a flat back position. Push your bum out, drop your chest. Drop your head, reach for the floor or reach for your block, depending on where you're at in your stretch. And just relax here for a breath or two. Coming back up the same way we went down. If you need to, you can push into your thighs to help lift you up. Inhale up. You might feel dizzy, you might get a head rush. Just breathe through it. And then you're going to heel toe. Your heels and your toes toward each other till you can step to the top of your mat. And stand for a moment in mountain pose. And I want you to feel the two sides of your body again. Palms together, inhale, push up. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale up. Exhale, back bend. Inhale up, exhale, swan dive. Halfway lift, inhale, flat back. Exhale, fingertips touch the mat. This time we're stepping the right foot back. We're setting up for the warrior two posture. But on this side, lining the heels up, making sure our ankle and our knee are in line with each other before we push up, coming up into warrior two with left foot forward. So it should be the opposite leg forward than last time. Breathe here. Drop the back hand down to the leg, grab your thigh, and inhale your arm up. And then let's have a look at the palm. Breathe. Exhale, forearm comes down to rest on the thigh. We're going to lift the shoulder up toward the ceiling, so that's your first challenge. And if you're able to line everything up across here, then you're going to lift the arm overhead and reach for the opposite side of the room. And reach. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Those of you that have a little more upper body strength, try to let go with the other arm. Inhale, coming back up into warrior two. Nothing changed below the waist. It was everything above the waist. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, push your hip back just a little. Reach just for the other side of the room a bit more. And then drop your hand down to your leg or to your block. Don't grab your knee. Above or below. Inhale. Let's work on lifting up that shoulder toward the ceiling. If you can't, just do a few of those, lifting up, dropping down. For those of you that can lift the shoulder up, lined up top to bottom, see the ceiling without hurting your neck, reach for the ceiling. Triangle pose. Breathe. Inhale, as you come up, bend your knee into warrior two. Drop your hands down, turn your toes in. Coming back into the forward fold again. Hands on your hips, push your bottom out, lift your tailbone up, drop your chest. Start to come forward toward the floor. Reach for the floor or your block, whichever you need here. Breathe. Let's walk our hands over toward the right foot and bend the right knee. Stretch out the left leg. Even if you're using a block, you can do this, or this, or this. Any of these things can be done with the block. Come back to center. Let's bend the left knee and walk our hands over toward the left. Stretch out the right leg. Come back to center. Relax here. Just breathe. See if you're able to let go of the floor. If you are, you can clasp your hands together and lift your arms up toward the ceiling. I know some of you can. If you can't, you can't. Don't force anything. Relax your hands back down. Coming back up again, nice flat back. Hands on the hips, lift your head, back, all in one go. And then heel toe, so you can get to the top of your mat. Stand in mountain pose. Palms together, inhale, push up. Exhale, side bend to the right side. Take a breath here. Inhale up, exhale, side bend to the other side. Inhale up, exhale, nice back bend. Inhale up, exhale, swan dive. Fingertips touch the mat, so you're going to bend your knees as much as you need to here to put your palms down. Step back. Come into downward facing dog first. Take a breath or two. Drop to your knees. Push back into child pose. So you can either have your knees together or your knees wide in this child pose. Push back into your child pose. Take a few deep breaths here. Coming back up again, come onto your bottom. You're going to come down nice and easy. So gently come down to your back. Use your elbows if you need to help lower you down. If you'd like, you could put your head on a blanket here. Bring your knees up toward your chest. Roll gently on your back. Or if you prefer, you can go in circles with your knees. You do circles, go one way and then go the other way. Bring your knees up as tight as you can toward your chest. Drop your arms out to a T and just roll onto your left hip. Let your knees drop over toward the left. Try to keep your shoulders down. If your knees don't make it to the floor, that's okay. Just try to keep your shoulders down. Take a few breaths here. It's time you can breathe out through the mouth. Let everything relax. Bring your knees back up. Rock on your back for a second. And then drop your knees over to the right side. You can look towards the left side. Just let everything relax. Take more deep breaths. And bring your knees back to your chest. Hug them in as best you can. If you like here, you can go into happy baby by grabbing your big toes and lifting your feet toward the ceiling. Just rock gently on your back. And then stretch out for Shavasana. So take up lots of space. Spread your legs out, spread your arms out. And begin to allow yourself to gently relax deeply. Let your breath relax. Let your muscles relax. Let your body melt. Think of a place in your mind where you feel very much at peace, wherever that is. And go there and spend some time. Gently begin waking your body back up again. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And if it feels good, give yourself a nice stretch, a full body stretch. Stretch it out. And then bring your knees back up to your chest once more and give yourself a nice big hug. Take a moment to thank your body. It really works very hard for you every day, and we really take it for granted. So thank that body of yours. Thank your body. And then roll over to one side. It doesn't matter whichever side feels most comfortable for you to do. And just take a few more breaths here. Don't rush this part. This part is for you. Just breathe here. Feel what you're feeling. And then gently bring yourself back up to a seated position, whichever seated position feels comfortable for you now. And we'll get ready to close our class. So we'll close our class by chanting Om. I take a breath in and out first, and then we'll inhale for Om. So let's inhale, exhale, inhaling for Om. Om. Rub your hands together, generating some heat, some prana. And as you do this, close your eyes, place your palms over your closed eyes, and when you breathe in, open them, sending that energy right down into your body, wherever it needs to go. Exhaling back into the universe, this leftover energy, but scoop up a little bit and bring it back to your heart center. Namaste. So if you have any questions, I'm going to scooch over closer to the screen so I can see that, what you're typing in. This is a really great time to ask questions before we close the class off completely. Anything that you are wondering about, anything that you were concerned about, that you felt or experienced during your yoga practice, or just any question in general about today's practice. Feel free. This is the time. I'm going to have my cup of tea handy. So if you have some tea nearby or water or something, grab it. Have a drink. So anybody have anything you'd like to share, anything you'd like to say before the class is done? I'll give you a few minutes to do that. I know it takes a little bit of lag time between the time you chat it in and the time it actually shows up on the screen. Susan says she's so happy to start off the day with us all. Thank you, Susan. Thank you very much. We're happy to start our day with you too. If you haven't already, please press like before you leave today. And make sure if you haven't, you should subscribe to Northern Zen Yoga. Pressing subscribe and notifications, and you'll be able to know when I've posted new videos to my channel, and also anything else, any announcements or whatever that I put out there, you'll be able to find out. By the way, next Tuesday is yoga with small hand weights. So if you have a small 1 pound or 2 pound hand weight, you can bring it along. You need one for each hand. If you don't, do what I do. Use tin beans, pork and beans. They're kind of heavy and they work really well. Joy says she felt really good to get back to yoga again. She's been ill for a while, so I'm so glad you're back too. Dottie says she's getting much better at Warrior 1 and 2. Well, when you get practicing it enough, it does start to become easier. Your body starts to get a memory for knowing where to go and how it should feel. So it's good. I'm glad. And I'm sure many others of you are also starting to feel that too. And of course, having me drill into your heads constantly to do this, do this, do this really helps. I'm sure. Thank you, Dottie. Thank you very much. Any questions this week? Anybody out there that's brand new to yoga, that's the first class they've tried? Anybody out there that is from a different country besides, I think it was Barbara, she's from Yorkshire in the UK. That's in England. I'll give you a few more minutes, and if not, I'm going to say goodbye for this week, and we'll see you next week. And don't forget about the workshop, July the 14th. Check your calendar, see if you're available, and if you're keto curious, then check it out. Hopefully I'll be able to answer a lot of misconcerns and questions about the keto lifestyle. Also, it's referred to as low carb eating, and it's been proven to be very, very beneficial for people who have high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and other metabolic disorders, because it helps to regulate the blood sugar. And Millie is saying she loves my class and it makes a world of difference for her body. And it does. Believe me, it does. Thank you, Wynn. Thank you, Millie. It's sunny in Winnipeg, so she's sending me some of that sunny love, because right now we could use some. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. I think I'm going to say goodbye, because nobody's got a good question or anything like that to help answer. So I'm going to take off and see you next time. So remember, if you haven't become a member yet of Northern Zen Yoga and have taken advantage of the Zoom classes or being able to go to the members page and check out the previous class videos, have a look, www.northernzenyoga.com. Have a look and see, and you'll find out that there's very, very inexpensive option to become a member, and it's worth it. If you get a 3-month membership or more, it's basically every month will cost you about the cost of going to a live yoga studio. Most yoga studios now charge between $15 and $20 or more for a class, and if you're paying for 3 months and up, it works out to $16.67 a month, which is very, very reasonable to have the additional classes and the access to the videos that you can watch at a later time if you like a particular class, or if you missed it or you can't because your schedule doesn't allow you to make the Zoom classes, you can still see the Zoom classes on that page. All right, bye for now, everyone. Love you. See you next time.